Hi everyone, good afternoon. Is it afternoon? Yeah, it's afternoon now. Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to this session on digital campaigning. It's going to be very informative. We're just going to wait a bit longer to see if more people are joining us, but like I say, we'll start within a minute or so. All right, should we start? Awesome, brilliant. Well, like I say, welcome to this session. I hope you're all well. This session is all about digital campaigning and the effective use of social media. I think I'll just begin by giving like a brief introduction to who I am. So my name is Samuel Kalajaye, or otherwise known as Samuel K on Facebook and stuff. I do a lot of social media. I work for Momentum and I do their social media and have been for around 2 years or so. And in that time, obviously, I've learned quite a few things about effective use of social media and how to, use it in such a way that you're not just sort of, number one, staying in an echo chamber. You're actually, reaching people, that we want to reach, because obviously we want to spread our message. And socialism seems to be, something that is growing, but the right have captured Facebook and and YouTube in such a way that the left really has to catch up, because we're making great strides now. I think, there are many sort of left-wing groups and pages I see on social media that have got, a very far reach. We're talking about, tens of millions of, I think there's actually a very interesting stat. There's the best performing Facebook page, period, of, I think, the beginning of this year up until now is a page called Occupy Democrats. Now, some of their stuff is a bit, I mean, a bit more left, of them, but these guys, don't like Donald Trump. They're spreading, factual stuff, calling out his lies and stuff, and just commenting on social issues in general, and that seems to be doing well. So there is a massive opportunity for people to use social media to effectively get through to people and change people's minds, because it does happen. So I think everybody's in. So I just want to explain the structure of today's session. There's going to be obviously this brief introduction by me, and I'm going to just go into a bit more why social media is so crucial. But we're going to have 3 breakaway sessions hosted by three of us speakers. So I'm going to be talking about campaigning. I'm going to be talking about using social media effectively. I'm going to be talking about how to navigate Facebook and Twitter. To it doesn't always have to be. If you're going into this, it doesn't always have to be the goal that you're reaching millions and millions of people. It could be that you go into this and you learn how to use Facebook groups more effectively, and you learn how to communicate with others, and then your campaigning is more like is more in line with each other. You've got more tools at your disposal to spread your message and campaign. So that's what I'm going to be going through on Facebook. We've got another session headed by Emily Mann, and she's going to be looking at the design aspect of this. So how to, if you're looking at protests, or looking at memes and stuff, like what are the best sort of design techniques and tactics to to effectively get your message across. That will be Emily Mann. And then we've got Amy Addison, who's going to be talking about subtitling for videos, how to make them more accessible. Or, we've got to think about people who are visually impaired, for example. How can we make all these digital campaigns and the stuff that we do online more accessible for them? So that's the nature of what we're going to be doing. Those are the 3 breakaway sessions. Like I said, I think you can indicate in the comment section who you'd want to see talk. So without further ado, I just want to see if we're all ready to go now that we've got an introduction and people sort of know what's happening. I'm wondering if we're okay to go.
Yeah, right. So we'll do the breakaways now. We'll do our best to accommodate everyone. Last chance, if anyone wants to be in a particular breakout, please type in that number, 1, 2, or 3, and then we'll be going into the breakouts now.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Good morning.
Morning. Hi, I'm Amy. Bit about me. I'm a digital journalist. I usually work with the publication Middle East Monitor, but I'm here in a personal capacity. So whatever I say does not necessarily reflect the views of Middle East Monitor. Anyway, so you're here to learn about video subtitling, which I know it seems laborious and maybe not as glamorous as graphic design or I know getting them shares, but this really does help and all the difference to have those subtitles there for people who may not be able to hear. Okay, so 1 minute, I need to share my screen. Okay, so I've prepared, so what we're going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you and I'm going to show you how to do the subtitling. Then I got a 36-second clip that I'm going to send you all in a WeTransfer link, which I'll post in the comments. Oh God, I'm not recording the screen. Sec. Sorry, I'm not recording the screen. Oh no, we are. Okay, so without further ado, we will begin. So I usually use YouTube to do the subtitling because I think it's the best medium, it's easiest to use, it's the yeah, I think it's just the most simple. So what you do is you upload your video. Next. All right. No, it's not made for kids. Oh, is it made for kids? Guys, is it made for kids? Yeah, let's say it's made for kids. I usually do it, you go to visibility. I usually do it unlisted, so only I can see it whilst it's sort of in the works. And if you want to put it on YouTube, you can publish it later, then you hit save. So make sure you're on Studio and YouTube. Hang on, let me see. Make sure you're on Studio and YouTube, and that means you get it on. Let's go on this. You can get it right here. Come on. My internet's slow, I do beg your pardon. You get it right here when you get create video. So like the little camera with the plus sign and everything. I'm pointing at my screen, but you can't really see. Okay, so here we have the video sitting here in our Creator Studio. And then you do this. And then there's sort of like a screen, right? You're all seeing my screen, right? Okay, presumably.
Yeah.
Then you hit. Oh God. Uploading. Then you have this video here. And you can add the subtitles. I do apologize, it's been quite slow today. Okay, right. Sorry, I thought we'd cut out. So now we have, after clicking subtitles and uploading this, we can click on transcribe and auto sync. And what's really good about this particular program on YouTube is you can type it up and it will automatically stop. So, for example,
today we
like that.
face a challenge
You can do this.
on a scale bigger than any
Bigger.
we've seen.
And then you can basically
In our
sort of type all
lifetime.
this up.
And in the
And I say at this point, don't worry about grammar, don't worry about spelling, don't worry about sort of splitting it up. You can sort of go on to the next one and do that as well. I'd say with subtitles as well. Important thing is to sort of listen to the flow of what's being said, and then that's how you might sort of change. That's how you sort of might order the subtitles, as it were. Sorry, I'm a bit out of it. I've got a tooth infection. It's lame. So. And I suggest
in the months to come with us,
and then you
and in the months
then you can
in
read
our
it.
life, challenge on a scale bigger than anything we've seen in our lifetime. And in the months to come,
So like this.
we will, all of us, in different ways, face disruption to our lives.
In hindsight, probably should have.
Daunting challenges.
I'm just going to do this sort of very quickly.
For many of us, these are very worrying times.
Oh.
We fear illness.
Nearly there.
We worry about how our friends and family and the most vulnerable in our society.
Okay, so I'd say, would that do for everyone, do you reckon? Do you reckon that'll do for everyone?
Yeah.
Okay, so then we click on set timings here. And so you have to sort of wait for a moment, if you know what I mean, just so it sort of reads your subtitles here as well, and sort of, yeah. Give me a moment. But basically, sort of this next bit is what I see as the most important bit. Like, you've got the words down, it's good that you sort of type it out, but this is how to make the subtitles sort of like, I know, visually attractive, you know what I mean? I know it sounds quite sort of like shallow, but it really does sort of make all the difference. Because if you've got like 3 lumps of subtitles sort of going out that doesn't seem to sort of fit in with the cadence of what you're saying and everything, it can be really jarring. People just won't want to watch it. And like, I don't know about you, but bad subtitles make me cringe. Like, yeah, so I sort of have a rule of thumb, sort of keep it small, try and keep it to 2 lines as well, because like 3, no. Okay, right, let's have a look, let's see.
Today,
okay, right, and now we have the editing part.
Today, we face a challenge.
And then this is where you can sort of edit and sort of clear everything up. So you have like...
Today, we face a challenge on a scale bigger than anything we've seen in our...
Okay, so this is where you can start sort of cleaning up all the grammar and everything. Basically, if you want to create like a new line, then you just hit enter. If you want to sort of like break up the subtitles as a whole, you have to press shift enter, and then you get that. Do you see what I mean? Okay, but we don't want that because that's 3 lines, and I just told you not to do that. So it's basically sort of just about sort of breaking it up and everything. And then it's just sort of like an issue of trial and error. So
Today, we face a...
Okay. And then you can sort of adjust the length of the... you can adjust the length of the subtitles and how long they stay up. So you have like... Yeah.
Today, we face a challenge on a scale bigger than...
So, for example, you just need to make it sort of fit in with what he's saying, basically.
Today, we face a challenge on a scale bigger than anything we've seen in our life.
Yeah, I'm not... Okay. It's always good to sort of make sure they're sort of joined up.
Today, we face a challenge on a scale bigger than anything we've seen in our lifetime.
Sort of like...
And in the month...
And then you can sort of see at the bottom here, right here as well, you can see at the bottom is, you can see sort of like the sound waves as well. So that sort of gives you guidance as well. So if he's pausing, generally it'll go quiet. If he starts talking again, generally the spiky things will go up. That's all I can really refer to them as. So you have like...
Scale bigger than anything we've seen in our lifetime. And in the months to come, we will, all of us, in different ways face...
So yeah, and then we have, so for example, and in different ways, and then this is what I mean by sort of maybe sort of like splitting them up and making them more attractive. So you might want to do that, for example. So it's sort of smaller, more compact in the middle of the screen, and sort of less jarring to look at. And like, for example, this one, it's quite a long subtitle. So if we listen to the sound of his voice and see if we can turn it into 2 separate subtitles, so to cut down
in different ways face disruption to our lives and difficult and daunting challenges.
So it looks to me like that this and difficult and daunting challenges subtitle by the way he's sort of speaking. So you can do that. And then we sort of clear that up here. So
face disruption to our lives and difficult and daunting challenges.
So yeah, that worked well. So difficult and daunting challenges, again, sort of try and keep it to the center like that. Anything too long is pretty jarring. As I say, keep it to 2 lines, keep it sort of compact as possible and everything. There we go.
In different ways face disruption to our lives and difficult and daunting challenges. For many of us, these are very worrying times. We feel...
There we go. And this is another one as well. This looks like it could be another subtitle. So I can do with the full stop as well. Again, you can go like with very difficult and worrying times. Very worrying times. We feel illness, and we worry about our friends and everything.
Challenges. For many of us, these are very worrying times. We fear illness. We worry about how our friends and family and the most vulnerable in our society.
Again, sort of listening to the sound of his voice, you could probably
worry about how our friends and family and the...
You could probably move this. Oops. Again, you could probably move this here as well. I also find as well that it's better to have shorter at the top, larger. Actually, no, that's a lie. The other way around. So longer at the top, shorter at the bottom. If you know what I mean. So it sort of goes like a reverse pyramid kind of thing, like a cone as well. Again, it's sort of less jarring, a bit more sort of easy on the eye, if you know what I mean. Okay, so right, let's see how.
Fear illness. We worry about how our friends and family.
So for example, this one needs to be a bit longer.
And the most vulnerable in our society will cope.
Okay, I think that is the end of the subtitles I did. So yeah, that's basically sort of subtitling 101. Then we have the fun part of trying to get them on social. And you can do that, and you have to sort of download what you're doing. So you click, obviously, save changes here. This, English, United Kingdom. I'm putting my mouse. Keep pointing at the screen, it's terrible. And then you can download. So you have actions, and you need to SRT file, because that's the file you're that's the file you're using. Now, Facebook is weird because it's weird. And there's a very particular way you have to save the file, very particular format, the title. So you have to have your file name .en_us.srt. It's a pain in the ass, but and that's how you have to save it. That's the sort of format. I'll copy and paste that in the chat. So we save that as well. Then we have our original video. Okay, so let's go on facebook.com. I hope nothing dodgy comes. I bet something dodgy comes up. Okay, no. Then we go to pages. I created a page especially for you guys with here's one I did earlier. It's great. So we're waiting for pages to come up. Give it a moment. Do you know any questions so far whilst we wait for Facebook to catch up with itself?
So far, super useful. Really, really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. Is this any other questions going on? Like, no, we're clear on what we're doing at the moment. Okay, so here's my page for testing. Anyway, what you need to do, and this is the fun part, is Creator Studio. I use this every day because Creator Studio and Mark Zuckerberg likes to be awkward about these things. And this Creator Studio is where you manage your pages, basically. Don't want to post a Middle East monitor, get sacked. So you select that. I'm on my page. Anyway, so Creator Studio is where you sort of manage all your content as well. So you can upload videos, you can upload articles, you can upload graphics, you can upload anything. And if you're crazy enough, you can link up your Instagram page as well and manage your Instagram too. But that's another story, and I'm not going to show you Instagram. So what you need to do, in this case, if you want to create a video, you create a post, then you have to press upload video, otherwise it gets really awkward. And this is sort of the special format for where videos, if you know what I mean. So if you create a post like that, it doesn't work for uploading videos, and you'll get very frustrated, and chances are it'll glitch and won't. Yeah, I don't care. I've made no progress. Okay, so you need to go to upload video. And then you scroll down and we have Corbin for subtitles, which I used earlier. You select that one. Okay, so now you have to subtitle your video. Any ideas for titles? Oh, do we have a suggestion?
Jez's vid.
Jez's vid. Okay, I like it. Jez's vid. And you always have to have a title for your videos, otherwise it's just pain. Create Studio, the talking, We miss Faye. There you go. So you have this video uploaded, and then that bit there sort of tells you your video is fully uploaded. Even if it's not, if it's like, you can still sort of edit the everything. There's a thumbnail, so you can select a thumbnail from the auto-generated image. So let's this one, him looking a bit surprised, maybe. Yeah. If not, you can add a custom image as well. So I don't know, I don't have any pictures, books and stuff. What's in there? Syria. Anyway, so that's with your custom image, and you can add an image straight from your computer. Okay, so if you boost the post, though, you unfortunately can't change the thumbnail, as we've learnt from work and having angry emails from the video team. Okay, so now here's where you upload your subtitles. So you need to go on here, .srt. It's a subreddit, okay. You can alternatively write your own captions, but I find this to be quite awkward and fiddly. And sort of taken a while, if you know what I mean. So I always use the YouTube thing because it's quite straightforward and the subtitles are easy to edit. Whereas this one, I don't know, it's a bit of a drag. I tried it last night. Okay, so we upload our file. So we go down again, then we have, was it this one? Yeah, we didn't want that one. So I did one earlier. So we have filename.end.us. And then we have the captions are uploaded, and we click next. And then we have some publishing options. So you can publish now, you can schedule, you can premiere, I don't know, we never use that, or you can put it as a draft. So with scheduling, one warning about the Facebook scheduling system, it like blasts it way into the future with the scheduling. So for example, it's 1 o'clock now, this wants to schedule it for 9 o'clock tonight. It's bizarre. So sometimes it might, if you're doing it later in the day, it might say certain dates. You've sort of switched the date back a bit. So it might say, for example, later on, it wants to schedule it then. So you have to really sort of check for these things. And anyway, we're going to publish now, so that's irrelevant. So we hit publish, obviously. Video being processed. Okay. On the page. Okay. This is one I did earlier, so cool, but and then you can
Coffee. What's the thing that makes you cry?
So for example, this is one I did yesterday, and this is how you switch on the subtitles. So you press that little sort of settings thing there, and you switch it on. And it's sort of in
animals
control.
Suffering, people suffering in poverty.
It's sort of in control mainly of the person doing the watching. So let's refresh my page for testing to see if the video's gone up. Let's just check. Okay. Also, you can read all your sort of stats and insights on your page as well, which is good because you can really sort of optimize your your page to your audience as well, which is what's really handy about Creator Studio. So you can look at your insights, for example, just while we're waiting. Wait, no, it's not on Creator Studio. So yeah, you can sort of look on your insights and everything, and it tells you, I don't know, it sort of very much concentrates on videos because Facebook is big on the videos. And then you can sort of check for your loyalty, you can check your audience as well. It really does sort of break it down for you. So It tells you what your average audience is, what the ages are, who's watching, what countries they're from. Okay, I'm on the Middle East monitor stats. We don't want that. Anyway, that's sort of a brief overview, and that's how you can sort of really optimize your social media to your page, as it were. Okay, so we're on my page for testing. Oh, just refreshing. See if it's gone through. Okay, there we go. So again, we can switch on the captions here, and
we will, all of us, in different ways, face disruption to our lives and daunting challenges. For many of us,
even if that, you know what he's saying. You see, I've silenced him. You can still see what he's saying. Okay, and the sort of the thing is, you can do the sort of same on Twitter, if you like, as well. So we go on the sort of video suite, and it's video.twitter.com, and then it takes you to the sort of media studio. Just double check that we're on mine and not Middle East monitor. Again, okay, and again, you can sort of upload media again on this sort of particular studio. This is where you sort of manage all your media as it were, and it's really handy because, like, for example, I think I did this when I was answering someone. It shows you, usually it shows you a tweet, the tweet in which it's gone out in, but then you can tweet it again, so that media is still there, so if you want to repeat tweet, it'll still be there. Anyway, so we upload the media, and it's pretty sort of similar to what we've just done, really. Media studio can take a while. And basically, let me have a look. God, I share a lot of junk. Is that the NHS clipping? Okay, so if it's a video, here's an example. You the tweet which has gone out, and you can access that tweet as well, but once again you have the option to tweet again with it, so if you want to share the video again. Okay, so we have Corbin for the subtitles here. You're very lucky that I'm tweeting this stuff out for you on my own personal Twitter account. So you have, you scroll down and you have subtitles, and you can add a new SRT file. This is where you have to sort of pick the language, and then I don't know why they make you do it this way. You have to pick the language in which you're using, hit upload. And then we go back to our file name.en. You don't have to save file name. You can save it like this one as well. So you can change the file as long as it's followed by .en _us.srt. As long as it's followed by that, you can call your file whatever the fuck you want. Okay, so we're uploading, and the thing is about sort of like Media Studio, that sort of, it really does sort of change your, sorry, it does save your settings immediately as when you have to hit save, so it's not a needy platform, if you like. So, okay, so we've got that. Let's do a tweet. What should we say? Any ideas what I should tweet? All right, Sam is suggesting shrug. No, okay.
Just a heads up, I think we've got some questions from Nigel. Nigel, I don't know if you want to unmute yourself and ask them, but they've been posted in the chat as well.
Oh God, sorry. I'm on a screen sharing thing.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Nigel, can you unmute yourself? Or you don't have to.
Yeah, it was, sorry, I've got a dog barking. It's just the, what's the SRT and what's the .en/US? Is that anything we need? So I'll turn the mute off.
Okay, so basically with the SRT, that is just simply the format in which your file that you've downloaded from YouTube here on your actions, that is just the file type that you need in order to upload your sort of subtitles to social media and sort of sync it up, if you like. So that's just simply the file type. But Facebook has this weird glitch thing where you have to save it as a certain sort of name. There has to be certain aspects in your file name that you've saved that need to be there. So oh, my little reminders there. So for example, basically this bit is the important bit. Like all your file name, like you can have your file name, you can call it whatever the hell you want, for example, but it always has to be followed by .en _us.srt. Like it basically, yeah, basically that's the file format you sort of have to save it as. I don't think it's so bad yet trying that. So it's always safer just because Facebook is fussy to make sure you sort of save it this way, in this sort of way. Do you see what I mean? Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. Okay. We're clear on everything else. Anything else? Like any other questions or like anything I've sort of said that needs clarifying? Okay, we're good. Okay, so then we have, so I take it this is on Corona. Corbin speaks on Corona. Add a little hashtag, shall we? It's one. COVID. Yeah. And then I can tweet that out. And then it shows me the tweet, which I've got to. Unfortunately, for some reason, I can't see subtitles from my own Twitter, so I'm going to share this in the link. Get back. Okay. So I'll send this.
Oh, the dog's joined us for the workshop.
I don't know. What's his name?
That's Sheba. It's my stepdog.
Sheba.
Usually extended families.
Super cute.
So I've shared the tweet I've just done in my in the chat. People want to check for me. Like as I say, Twitter doesn't seem to want to show me the subtitles on my own page. So if you click on that tweet that I just sent you, if you want to follow me, feel free. I don't tweet very much.
Yeah, I can see the subtitles on that.
Yeah, it's all coming up. Okay, good. And that is generally how you do the that is generally how you do the social media and uploading. Okay, so I have a special treat for you all. I have taken this video that you just saw me subtitle and a transfer file for you. All you need to do is click the file and press download. Perfectly simple. Hang on, everyone. Okay, so this is the WeTransfer transfer link, and it's got the video I just sent you in it. So basically, what I'm saying is, give it a go yourself. Yeah. Give the sort of like the subtitling a go yourselves through YouTube. Type it all up. Again, remember to try and make sure you sort of capture the rhythm of what he's saying as a means of like when you're gonna sort of put your subtitles. That really does make all the difference. It can be quite jarring. Yeah, it can be very jarring if it sort of doesn't match up, if you know what I mean. Yeah, we all got the WeTransfer.
Yep, downloading.
Awesome. Shouldn't take long. It's like a 30-second clip. Okay. We all good? Do we all have YouTube accounts, first of all? Because obviously that's, I mean, generally if you have a Google ID, you'll have a YouTube account because Google owns everything now. Google and Facebook. All good. Do you want to sort of like give me a thumbs up in the in the chat if you've all got it? Good. We got the video.
Mine's just downloaded. My computer is old.
Sorry, where's it coming into?
Well, it should tell you when you download something. So, for example,
Right, okay.
So it should tell you when you download something where the file's going to.
Okay.
So, for example, if I download this, then it will tell me where the file is being saved. So there's desktop here, or I could save it to
Make sure you get
Facebook publicity book, which we don't want to save it to. Yeah. So where your file location is, generally your file location will go to the same location you used before.
What I will do is I'll type up my notes that I've had for this meeting, and
So I think you're not on mute, so we can hear other stuff going on in the background.
Sorry.
So, have we all got everything?
Feel free to take yourselves off mute as well. Everyone should be able to do that.
Yeah. If anyone's got any questions as well, let me know. Always happy to answer questions.
So my computer is super slow and doesn't seem to want to let me do anything whilst I'm on Zoom. So I probably won't be able to do it. I don't know if anyone else is having a similar experience.
Sorry, where did that file come from in the first place? It stopped. Somebody's fixed my Mac that fixed it so it won't work. So,
Oh no.
yeah.
The file's just a simple video file.
Yep.
It should technically just work essentially. There's no like, I mean, I got it off YouTube. It's still
Can
there.
you get the link in the chat, Nigel?
Oh.
It's the lower link. There's kind of a Twitter link. It looks like it's a one link.
Fine, thank you.
Face disruption to our lives, difficult.
Oh yeah, I've got it.
Challenges.
Amazing.
For many of us,
So, shall we put it on our YouTubes?
I'm going to try.
Remember with the YouTubing, put it. Just go on YouTube. God, you get to all see what I've been watching or listening to. Yeah, Tom Jones.
Unusual.
Jack. So remember, you're on YouTube. You upload it from there. That little camera. See?
Yeah,
We'll
it's just loading.
What's that? Panic at the Disco and Hamilton. Am I still sharing my screen? I am still sharing my screen. How are we finding it thus far?
I think I've. Oh, it's started uploading.
There we go. It shouldn't be long. It's a 30-second clip, so.
I know, my computer's dying. Cool, yeah, I'm up and running.
Amazing.
How's everyone else getting along?
How's everything going? How are the chaps? Comrades, sorry. I've got to stop calling people chaps.
So once I've uploaded it and it's gone into the the channel videos bit, how do I get to the subtitling bit? No, do I just click on the video?
Are you on this one?
No, I need to know how I get to there. Okay. So I'm in channel videos, which I think is just back. Yeah, I'm here, yeah.
So you click on it, like that.
Click on the video itself, the image. I was clicking on just some of the like the text bit and it just kept selecting it. And I was like, where do I go now?
Go down underneath the video here and you click the subtitles. Like that. And then you can add them and everything. Like I say, I always make sure mine are unlisted when I'm subtitling as well. I mean, to be honest, I don't really use my YouTube channel to do anything. I'm more of a TikTok person. I have a TikTok channel. I more use this to sort of like convert video files and sort of and listening to the Hamilton soundtrack, obviously. Which is annoyingly good despite the subject matter. Okay, how are we doing?
Yeah, I've managed to get through now to the subtitles bit, and I can see all the spiky bits from at the bottom. I'm matching up. I suspect, though, I don't know if we'll have time to.
Okay.
Go through it.
I'm being shouted at now by people going, wrap up now, wrap up.
Okay.
So should we all go back to the main meeting and then we try this in our own time?
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you so much, Amy. This was really, really useful, really, really helpful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Thanks, Amy.
Okay, so it's a bit of a design workshop. We have a good 45 minutes, which is really nice. I'm Emily Mann, and can everyone see this?
Yes, I can see it, Emily.
Yes, thank you. Sorry. A bit about me. I'm self-taught in Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator. I've made graphics for lots of left groups. So I made some graphics for LARAF, for my local CLP, for the general election, as well as for my local left group and my Harry Young Labour group. And I'm currently doing graphics for this group called SOAS Detainee Support. They kind of visit people in detention. And yeah, fun fact, I swerved a handshake from Jacob Rees-Mogg and it was the most baller move I ever made. Okay, so because I don't have any like proper qualifications or anything, I'm currently studying history and politics. Thought I should show you my work just in case people are like, you know, it's a very valid question somebody asked on Twitter. like what are my credentials. I don't have any unless you want to count my A-levels and GCSEs. But yeah, so this is some of my work. And yeah, so why is good design important? So first of all, first impressions count. It's literally what you see, and if it looks crap, and there's a lot of crap graphic design out there, unfortunately, then it can turn people away from things. It can also set the tone for your group. So with Certitanee support, or SDS, we spent a lot of time thinking about what sort of imagery we wanted to use, so we can think about what sort of message we wanted to put across. And that's the sort of, that's what I mean by setting the tone. So if like, depending on the color palette, or, you know, the sort of images you use, you can very definitely, you know, draw in the right or the wrong crowd. And lastly, it shows people that you care about the campaign. This is not me trying to say that, like, people who can't do graphic design can, like, you know, go away. But, you know, I think the image of what you want to put across and everything is very important. So if you have a good cohesive sort of look to your campaign, and, you know, and it's very, like, detail oriented, which includes things like graphic design, and something like that isn't overlooked, then it can show that, look, this is a well-run machine. Please appreciate your graphic designers. It's a specialized skill. If you can, please offer payment. We can't live off publicity. Don't be taken aback at, like, rates. It just means the designer knows the value of their own work. Especially freelancers, people are very taken aback about them. They're like, oh, that is much more than I make in an hour. But you know what? We don't spend just an hour making graphics. It's a long time. You spend a lot of time making last-minute tweaks. So, you know, I'll finish a design, and then the person in charge of the campaign will be like, oh, can you make it like this? Or can you make it like this? And they seem very small, like, tweaks, but they're not, because sometimes you'll have to cut around things, and you'll have to rearrange all the text, and, you know, resize everything. And oftentimes, you know, it can take a very long, it can take what seems like a 5-minute task can take an hour. Artists are also very underappreciated, but they're somehow seen as an unnecessary luxury, which is really weird. Yeah, so please appreciate your graphic designers. I've had a really bad personal experience of where I brought up the issue of pay, and I was basically accused of not being a socialist. So please don't go down that route, because, you know, we don't want to be scabbing off other artists and things like that. What can you use? There are lots of programs you can use. First of all, there's good old Canva, which is what I'll be doing a little, like, skill share on. You can also use all these open source softwares. So there's Inkscape and Crease and GIMP. So Inkscape is a vector-based thing. I don't know if people know what that is, but it's basically, if you stretch out the image as big as you want, it won't, like, lose quality. Whereas with GIMP and Creaser, you will, but that's more like, I guess for me, it's more like something that you can emulate, sort of, or imitate rather. I don't know English language properly, but you can imitate sort of like traditional art much better, I think, because with Inkscape, you get those sorts of, you see a lot of them on Instagram now with, like, infographics of, like, things, but because, you know, there isn't, I would say there, sometimes you could say there isn't as much skill in like drawing a sort of silhouette, as opposed to drawing, like, a proper, like, face with shadows and everything. There's Font Forge, which can be very useful, depending if you can't find the right font. So I take a long time actually choosing my fonts, especially if it's for a specific organization that likes to use a certain font or something like that. And you can use these too. And just to say that you can think creatively about how you go about using these and acquiring them. There's Photoshop, which is a raster based, so that's the sort of one that can imitate more traditional style. And there's also Illustrator. One thing to note is that I would say Photoshop is easier to learn how to use, but Illustrator is something that I much prefer at the moment, mostly because I don't have to worry too much about quality and things like that, losing it out, because if you start on like a really bad quality of a canvas on Photoshop and you can't stretch it out, then it's like kind of end game for you there. Starting off, you have to think about what are the aims of the graphic. So who is it meant to appeal to? What organization is it for? And the key ideas or outcomes of the campaign. So I kind of talked about this a bit earlier. So who is it meant to appeal to? You have to think about, is it trying to appeal to people who aren't in like the Labour Party, for example, or people who aren't leftists? Like, how left-wing do you want your graphics to look? What organization is it for? Do you want to copy certain colors? Do you want to use like the Labour red? Do you need to use like Labour motifs and logos? The same with the NEU. Do you want to use the NEU's color schemes if you're designing something for the NEU? So first of all, you can make a mood board. So this is a mood board that I made for that trade union graphic at the very beginning. I very much like Soviet style sort of looks. You can also have a mood board about the type of styles that you're thinking about using. So you can look at, even like 60s or 70s Labour posters, which I really, really like as well. The sort of ones where they're kind of like very simple color palette with like shadows are like gray, black, and it's like very much looks like it's block printed, which I also like the look of. So like the ones with like a bit of texture on it. Sorry if I'm not making any sense. You can also do some sketches. So this is something I highly recommend. If you're crap at drawing, that's completely fine. I'm also crap at drawing. You can see in the bottom right one with the barbed wire sort of thing, I just draw stick men because I can't draw people to save my life. Again, not professionally trained or anything. But yeah, sketching is very, very useful. I would say to make sure you do some thumbnail sketches, because that means, so they're like tiny sketches. That means you can block out where things are going to go, and it means you don't spend too much time thinking about like, oh, what does this specific thing look like, and things like that. Also, what you can do is draw them in the size that you're going to see them on your phone or on your laptop, because I often find if I don't do that and I start on my laptop straight away, when it's the actual size, it doesn't look that right. So yeah, let's get creative. So if you know that character, then props to you. So if everyone wants to go on Canva, I'll wait, and then maybe like give me a thumbs up or something if you want to tell me when you're there. We're just going to do a bit of a quick little follow along.
So, sorry, Emily, what do you want us to do? Do we have to download it or?
Oh, so just...
Sorry, I missed the first bits of it.
No, it's okay. Just open up like Chrome or Firefox or whatever browser thing you use and search Canva. So that's Canva. I can actually put a link in the... Does this link work? There's a free one, so I would stick with that, unless you've been considering buying the professional one for some time. Professional one, the premier one, or whatever they call it. And just like give me a thumbs up when you're ready, and then I'll
Okay.
go.
So it's the Canva basic, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
It's alright. Yeah, like ask me to slow down if I'm going too fast.
I'm in now. I've signed up for it, Emily. Just letting you know.
Amazing. How's everyone else doing? I mean, you can pop it in the chat and all that jazz. Otherwise I'm gonna start in about a couple minutes. Yeah, it can be quite fiddly having a couple of screens on at once. I'm struggling. Yeah. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm just gonna start now. So it's just some ideas that I played around with. So you know, I didn't really know what sort of thing we wanted to do. But yeah. So there's lots of things you can do. So over here on like this part, there's like text effects. So you can actually put in like shadows and things like that. And I kind of got rid of the space in between them so they kind of overlap. And I stole some artwork for this tutorial. Don't actually do that. Just give the guy some credit. They're called Jesus Barraza. But yeah, that's Layla Khaled if you don't know. And yeah, so what you can do is, because this was originally a black and white photo, you can actually go to the effects part of like editing the image, which I can show you guys afterwards, and change up the sort of colors. It's quite hard to match them, but if you have a bit of patience or if you have time, whatever, both would be ideal, then you can get the right colors. I then overlaid like an image of a brick wall, which I found on the internet, because not everything is free on Canva, and I just gave up and I was just like, and I just made it a bit more transparent, and so it looks like it's been spray painted on a brick wall.
Sorry, Emily. So do you want us to click on one of these things then? So...
No, I'm just going to show you some designs that I've done and like sort of things you can use, and then we'll get into making our own.
Okay. Sorry.
No, it's okay. So this is something else as well. I mean, it's not really like eventy, but I just wanted to play around with the sort of things you can do on Canva, because I'm not entirely familiar with it. I'm more like better with Photoshop and stuff. And you know, this is just something else that was quite simple to make. So you can actually add like shadows to the text, and this is like again added a texture which I actually got on Canva this time, and yeah. I thought what we can do is design some graphics to advertise some of the protests that people are going to today. So there are a few demos going on at the moment. It's a National Day of Action to stop arming Israel. There's also apparently there are also some Acorn protests as well. So that's to do with housing and to do with rent. And there's also a results day process with the sort of government U-turn, which BTEC students aren't actually covered for yet. And yeah, so if everyone wants to just choose like a sort of canvas size, I've chosen a Twitter image because a lot of the stuff that goes on in Labour is often advertised on Twitter. Facebook is only really there to showcase events and to say I'm going to this event, from my experience anyway. And also we don't utilize Instagram enough, which is a shame because that's the one I'm better at. So first of all, you can just look at the sort of templates on the side if you're stuck for design ideas. And you know, if you're not on a laptop at the moment, feel free to just grab a pen and paper and just sketch out something. Like, honestly, I think one of the biggest barriers in designing is people are afraid that something won't look good. But you know, just sod that. You know, the greatest artists have all started out from somewhere, and yeah, it's all about practice. And I'm not the best, and I'm here giving a tutorial on this stuff. So yeah, you can also search for templates as well. So sorry, excuse me, I'm kind of ill at the moment. But if you're looking for like sort of housing sort of stuff, or you know, you can look for a color, obviously socialist red, sort of thing. And these are great because you kind of have like the sort of text at hand already, and you can also steal some of their images, steal quotation marks, so you don't have to go looking for your own. And yeah, so okay, so something you can do is, you know, you can look for text over here on the obviously text thing. And I think I'm just going to do an Acorn Day of Action, since I already did two Palestine ones. And yeah, so things to think about are like your title. How do you make your title stand out? So if you go over here, you can see that there are some effects that you can use. My favorite one is the shadow one, mostly because I just think it's cleaner. So I don't really like the one with this sort of blurred shadow. I much prefer the sort of one where it's like you copied and pasted the text. But you know, that can change over time. I've definitely changed my sort of design influences a lot. And you can change the direction around things as well. And one thing as well is that you know, Canva's actually pretty good for a free software. I was quite surprised actually, and I do sound like a snob when I say that. But yeah, it's great. It has a lot of things that you can use for free, and I didn't know that you could do like effects and stuff like that. I would say that the main difference is if you're more picky about what you want things to look like, then, you know, it's good to maybe like try out Adobe Photoshop or whatever, because it's more versatile, and because it's more, you know, there's more things that you can do. So for this, it is quite restrictive with certain things, but it makes it easier to use. Yeah, sorry, I'm just talking off my head at the moment. You can also find some pictures as well. So unfortunately, a lot of them are like you have to pay for them. So you can see that it says pro and it says free. And yeah, but it is completely up to you. What you can also do is just do your own bit of drawing. So you know, this is what I did on Photoshop before I got confident drawing my own things, is I would just use a lot of shapes to make the image that I wanted, and then I would make them all the same color and then draw an outline around it. So yeah, don't be afraid to, you know, do like long-winded ways of cheating, quotation marks cheating, because, you know, we all have to start from somewhere, and so what if it doesn't look the best that it can look? That's what happens, right? I actually have no idea how to squeeze that triangle down. So or if people want to unmute themselves as well, then feel free, because it's kind of weird that I'm talking by myself here.
Good explanation there.
Thank you.
It's good. I didn't know about it. Canvas. I never knew about the free.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's one that a lot of Labour Party, well, a lot of people use actually, because it's free, and also, sorry.
Can you input your own photos into it? How do you do that?
Yes, you can. Okay. So there's a little thing on the side says uploads, and you can just choose to upload from whatever. So yeah, it's pretty good. Sorry, these are all the speaker photos because I had to do some of them. And yeah, it's quite good. Something that you can do actually. So I'm sorry, I'm conscious that we have like 15 minutes left.
Sorry, Emily, it would be good if you could share your screen, because I'm just like, I've literally clicked onto the links and I'm seeing something else, because I went onto charities and not for profit. So I'm a housing campaigner, so I will definitely go for that one. So I've just clicked on it and I've just like I'm seeing different images that I can use and so forth, but I cannot see anything where I can upload or any upload other photos.
I
think it's because of this screen. I've just got like, yeah.
I'm screen sharing at the moment. Can you?
Are you? Oh, I can't even see it. I can't see it.
Are you on your phone?
No, I'm on a laptop. I'm on a Mac.
I'm on my phone.
So I can't see it. So
I can talk you through it, maybe.
No, you carry on. I don't want to hold up for everybody else. Do you know what I mean? So it's fine. You can carry on. What I will do now that I know of this program, I can like spend my time like going through it, because I do have to do like different captions and stuff like that I would like to do for my housing campaigns. So
great. Yeah.
So no, please do carry on. I just wanted to say that.
Okay. Well, there's basically most of the stuff is on the left hand side. So you'll see templates, uploads, photos, elements, text, videos, background, folders, and more.
See it now.
Great.
Thank you.
Alright. So something else as well is what you want to do is when you look for images on Google, it's better if you search for a PNG, because that means there's usually no background on it. So what you see a lot is when people start out with design is they'll have ones with like a white background on with where the graphic has a red background, and it's kind of one of my pet peeves.
How do you credit people if you use their images?
You can, if you know their social media handles or sort of thing, that you can do that, and or you can add a link in the description or something to where you got the image. If it's something like from a stock photo sort of website or whatever, I like if it's free to use for everyone, then that's not a huge deal, I guess. Yeah. Sorry, I've forgotten how to.
Only if it's copyright.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, bear with me. I'm a perfectionist. But yeah, another thing you can do is, I don't know if anyone's used like a publisher before, but you can arrange which elements go on top and things like that. And then something else is if you upload an image, or if you use one of their photos, you can click on the image and there are loads of effects you can use. So this is what I was talking about, where you can choose the sort of colors that you want to use. So it basically means that if I wanted this rainbow to be like a sort of red, or if I wanted that black and white photo of Layla Khaled to be, instead of black and white, I wanted it to be red and white, then I can choose the sort of shadows if I click on the toolbars there, so I can choose like the highlights and things like that. But I want a nice little rainbow. So yeah.
Excellent. Your Adobe one, do you pay for it? Is that the one you pay monthly, or is it a?
One of them I pay for it. One of them I don't pay for it. Let's just say.
Okay. Yeah.
It wasn't very hard for me to acquire the one that I don't pay for. How do you want? So you have to also think about, how do you want to order the information as well? So, like, do you want, what's today's date? 2022 rather. Do you want the date to be like the first thing, or, and especially something like speakers, do you want, like, how do you want to order your speakers as well? And, you also have to think about the sort of color scheme you want. So really, I would recommend most people to use a monochrome sort of color scheme, or to stick to 3 colors, because a lot of people just go overboard with color, which I'm kind of doing at the moment. And it can lead to a design that isn't very like eye-catching and isn't very clear. And yeah, and that's it, to be honest. Like, I've talked about symbolism, this sort of thing. So I usually use a lot of I use like pictures of fists, or hand-drawn fists and things like that. And yeah, I think the hardest thing to do when it comes to design is, what images you want to use, because of the whole thing of, you can't just nick people's work. But you do what you can do, and that's why I would encourage, if you're comfortable enough, to use something like Krita or GIMP or Photoshop or whatever to draw your own sort of images. And mum, sorry, my mum just asked me for orange juice. Yeah, I've got a bit of a cold, so I'm like drinking like 50,000 fluids a minute. And yeah, and that's about it really. Just to show you how you can add a bit of texture. So you can do this sort of thing.
Where's that from? Oh, from photos.
Yeah, sorry. So you go to photos and you can just search, or you can search it on Google. So like I searched for an image of a brick wall, and you just make it really big, and yeah, it looks a bit blurry, but it's fine because it's going to be made transparent anyway. And you can kind of change the transparency so it's a bit less. And yeah, and then if you want it to match it more, you can just change the sort of color it is, and there you go, and it looks more sort of like natural, pasted on a wall or something. You can also use filters, so similar to like Instagram or whatever, or on your phone, and you can also change this sort of thing. So the tint, which is really like a hue filter, and you can also change like the sort of brightness and whatever. And yeah. Something else that you might want to do as well is add a sort of outline to your images. So just to explain what I did, I just copied and pasted those two shapes, and I made them a little larger, and now I'm gonna see if this will work. And then you make them a little larger, you send them to the back, and you've got a little outline for your thing there. Yeah, it's not as well done because I'm not really sure what I'm doing. But yeah, you can do that sort of thing. So I kind of have done that for so it's kind of like, for example, if you have a speaker and you want to have an image of them and you just want to highlight, oh look, this is our speaker, you can do that sort of thing. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Does anyone have any like questions and things like that?
No, it's brilliant.
Some things I would say as well is it would be good to separate who chooses what text there is and who makes the image, because sometimes I don't know, like I'll choose a title because of a meeting, and no one will tell me what the meeting is actually called, and then I'll just have to constantly change those sorts of things, or I'll have to change. So or like sometimes I have made graphics where there are like descriptions of a meeting, and I it's unfair for you to put all the brunt of the work of like making the graphic, but also thinking of the literature for everything. And I just think it's much better to have a job share of that sort of thing, or well, divide up the jobs rather. Don't be afraid to ask other people for their opinion. So I always like ask like my friends, like 2 or 3 people, what do you think of this design before I post it on the group chat for people to share, sort of thing. There are things that I miss, and there are things that other designers miss as well. Something else, sorry.
I think spelling is the most important, and getting the place and date and time right.
Exactly. I've messed that up so many times as well. And I think that's about it. What I will do is I'll type up my notes that I've had for this meeting, and I'll ask the organisers of LARAF to share that.
That would be fantastic. Thank you, Emily.
No, it's
Yeah.
all right.
Just
Yeah.
one question I just wanted to ask. What would be like your suggestion to offer like a graphic designer, like, because a lot of us are literally doing things that like for charity, doing charitable work. So
Yeah.
basically we're not getting paid. We're trying to fundraise ourselves to make sure that we can print out materials and so forth. So I don't want to be like be cheeky and and think
For free.
how much for free. So what would be like, I know, and I'll put you on the spot there, but what would you think would be
No, it's
great
okay.
starting point? Yeah.
Okay. Well, I've done a bit of research myself. And first of all, it's really up to who you ask. But secondly, it's going to be a lot down to that person's level of expertise. So for me, I won't charge as much as, people who have been trained and people who have done a lot more work than I have for a price. So my starting point is for £40 for a base sort of thing, and then I'll do it, and then I'll add by the hour. But that also changes with your relationship with that person. So, but I think it's something that if your organization can't actually afford to do that, there's nothing much you can do. So I've asked Sam if I could be paid for graphics for LARAF, which I ended up not designing because they couldn't pay me. But I'm not going to be like, oh no, sod LARAF, like it happens. And so I think it's really a discussion between you and the person you ask for design work. And you can also, you're more than welcome to, quotation marks, haggle. I don't really like the word haggle. It kind of sounds a bit rude, but like, yes, that's a better word. You can also negotiate a price with them. So, I've had a bad experience of asking people for money, and when I got accused of not being a socialist, and they could have just told me, can we negotiate a price, or they could have just said, we can't afford to pay you that much money. So it completely depends. I think, which is why I think it's really important that we also learn how to do these things ourselves, mostly because it can help you appreciate what designers go through. And really, I'm not one to talk much about that because I'm not a sort of professional person who's been trained or anything. But yeah, I would say it can look steep because of the fact that it's freelance work most of the time. But yeah, don't be taken aback and don't be afraid to like negotiate a price and but also be honest that we can't pay you that much. This is the most we can pay you, or this is, that sort of thing.
No, that's fantastic, because I always believe that you have to pay people for their time in some sort of way. So yeah, and that's the way how I see being a socialist as well, because you're using your own time to do that. So so that's how I do view that. But so yeah, no, you're correct in regards to negotiating and seeing where we can go from there. But I just needed like a baseline of where to start from. So so I know if how they are and so forth from there. So yeah, so thank you for that, and thank you for your presentation. It was really useful.
Yeah, I'll
very,
send.
it was very clear.
Yeah,
Clear
yeah,
like
you've
that.
done well.
Oh, thanks. I don't know if we're moving back into the room thingies. Hasib, are we doing that?
Yeah, I think we've got like a couple more minutes really, and I think that's it really. I think.
All right, Ace.
To close as well. So.
Well, if anyone wants to like show their designs and stuff, then you can. Or if you just sat back and heard me talk my head off, then that's completely fine.
I'll ask you a question about it. Have you done yours for put it on Twitter? You were saying this image, but if you want to print it, obviously the cost is going to get higher too. So you use less colours, maybe it might be cheaper for charity.
Yeah, exactly. So I've done a lot of stuff where it's had to translate into black and white. And another thing that you might have to think about as well is making a design and thinking about how it's going to fit on a portrait, as well as, you know, a landscape image that's going to be a little longer. So for the Sir Detainees sort of stuff, I've been doing basically 3 lots of graphics every time, because I've had to do one for Instagram, had to do one for Twitter, and I've had to do one for Facebook. And that means making it into a square, into a rectangle, into a longer rectangle. And that can, sometimes it's quick and easy, and sometimes you have to draw a few more things. But yeah.
I think we just got everyone coming back into the main group now. I think we might have everyone. I think. Well, I really hope that session was useful for you guys. Like I said, we try to sort of split into 3 distinct groups so that we all have a particular area that we're more interested in, right? So I think it was wise to sort of split it into 3. I hope the information was useful and that you can use it practically to get into doing more stuff online and, you know, campaigning digitally. And I think it's, like I say, something that we all need to get involved in. The right have got a handle on it, so we need to make sure that we're on the same level and, you know, combating their rhetoric effectively. So I just open it up really to everyone else here. Questions that anybody has, or anything that anyone wants to add to what's been said today. Okay, Sophia says Emily was very good and clear on the design, and she found that encouraging, and she's saying thanks. So that's good. Are there any more comments or anything else anyone wants to say? Brilliant. Well, I thoroughly hope that you've, you know, enjoyed today and you've come away with something. Like I say, we've all sort of brought something to the table here, and hopefully you can take something away and that will inform anything you do with regards to digital campaigning. So yeah, thanks for coming along today, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. So take care, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.